What's going on, everybody? Thursday, here we are, already at the end of the week, and it's the 15th, June 15th. Welcome to the corner. You'll notice some things are different, or at least the backdrop is different right now. It's not a permanent change. The original backdrop is still behind this backdrop, but it's a secondary backdrop. And I just want you guys to see it. I'm excited about it. My position as a Texas Insider Fishing reporter on television is a very big deal. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity to give the fishing reports for the Upper Fresh region, the Texas Insider Fishing Report. And I give the report for multiple lakes. In fact, Texoma, Ray Hubbard, Possum Kingdom, Lavon, Tawakoni, Athens, Lake Welsh, Holbrook, anywhere that I feel like I have information, can come up with information between myself, other guys, friends, and of course Fork. But it's really cool, and the sponsors that come with Texas Insider Fishing Report also linked with Florida Insider Fishing Report, which has been around for 20 years. It's a big deal. Captain Rick Murphy has built an empire. Bree, famous Bree, Bree was Miss Florida. Dave Farrell is these are famous people. Captain Rick Murphy has won many redfish FLW tournaments. It's really unique and an opportunity of a lifetime for me to be in those shoes, being supported by those guys and a part of the team. And so I had a banner made, which is covering some of the companies that I'm choosing to be a part of. I'm not contracted with those individual companies. I'm contracted with Texas Insider Fishing Report. But we've got Yamaha, Bass Assassin, Skeeter Boats, Power Pole, Bajío Glasses, Berkeley, Abu Garcia. Those are ones right now. I'm using those products. I'm part of those deals. I'm supporting those deals. And today I'm going to talk to you about a couple of them, Bass Assassin in specific. But before I give you the report, I just kind of wanted you guys to understand what that banner means. And in the future, I'm going to actually be doing an additional report publicly, probably once a week, that will be more along the lines of similar to the 5 minutes that I get every week on the TIFR report. I will actually give the report here live in the studio with more details. So it'll probably be a 10, 12-minute detail. In the TIFR report, for example, I get bass fishing, crappie fishing, stripers, hybrids, and white bass, and catfish. That way we're covering everybody that fishes. This isn't just about Lake Fork specific or anything bass specific or anything like that. It's a fishing report. So with that being said, that's what this cool banner is about. Texas Insider Fishing Report. Mike McFarland, Mcfarland Fishing, and a whole lot of other great people involved. All right, now let's talk about the lake a little bit. Back in the beginning of the year, every year, February, March, I talk about what I call the Texas two-step. We warm trend, cool trend, warm trend, cool trend. Water warms up 4 degrees, cools down 2 degrees, warms up 2 degrees, cools down 7 degrees. And we Texas two-step. The fish move in, the fish move out, the fish move in, the fish move out. And the fish are just constantly crazy with changes, Mother Nature being goofy. That also involves lake levels. Generally the lake will rise 6, 8 inches or a foot and then begins to drop again, and then rises some and then drops again. Most of the time that happens through our rain season, April and May. This year it's still happening. I'm going to put a big great red mark here for one day, and then the next day right back down. We're not really having the temperatures do the big swings as much anymore, although just last week we had fog, which meant the lake was cooling. Cool nights, cool makes fog. We're not really cool trending and having the roller coaster ride, but we're still continuing to have this up and down and up and down. The water rises and the water drops, and the water rises and the water drops. And 402.14 on Monday, 402.11, and then back to 402.14 with rain again we had the other day. And so fish want to move in, rising water wants them in, move in, move up, and then the water drops, they pull back out. It's just been one of the craziest seasons that I've ever experienced, weather-wise, not just temperature-wise. We're cooler than we're supposed to be. And we're still having fronts, and we're still having goofy weather, even in June, almost July. My neighbor moved here into my neighborhood about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And she came over to me the other day and she said, Mike, man, we've been here 2.5 years and there's like no consistency in the weather patterns at all. Nothing February, March, April, May, temperature-wise, the same weather. This crazy. I said, man, I've been here 10 years, gal. And I log it all. I keep track of it all. I have YouTube reports. I have pages of stuff that I've kept my information on. And there ain't nothing consistent in 10 years either. Welcome to Texas. All right, with that being said, I'm not going to tell you can still catch shallow fish, but you can still catch shallow fish. We just had a skeeter event where there was 11 overs caught, and a couple of them were caught shallow. I know a few of them were caught shallow, literally off the edges of docks. My good friend Jeremy Locke won the event with a 9.74, and a lady weighed in the very last hour with a fish that was longer than his, looked bigger than his. He thought he was about to be beat. She caught that fish on the edge of a dock, and he caught his in deep water. And so there's still fish scattered is what I'm trying to tell you. It's about over though. The shallow fish will be early in the mornings. You know, I've had many times on Fork in June, July and August that I still at the crack of dawn can catch a topwater fish on a shallow reef, a red clay point, a shallow shellbed, a shallow road, a point with wood and trees. Early in the morning, I can catch them on top water. I'm not going to catch a bunch. I'm not going to have a full-blown bite or smash session, but I can catch big fish, especially mid-July. I've caught fish, big ones, on top water. So you still got a little bit of the bounce back in and out with the fish, but majority of the fish are getting offshore. They are really starting to finally show up. You need to be using your sonar. You need to be looking at 18 to 22 feet of water on the roads, the points, the humps, the ledges, the breaks, the underwater points. Study a map and learn what an underwater point is. It's not the point that you see with the waves crashing on it. It's a point that looks like that, submerged underwater. Find the underwater points. There's, I want to say hundreds, there's probably thousands of underwater points on Lake Fork. Learn how to highlight your sonar. Like if you follow me on Facebook, I made a post a couple weeks ago about highlighting my hummingbird, which showed me all those honey holes. It showed me all those underwater places to go looking. Then I go look with the sonar. If I see bait fish there or bass themselves there, then I'm going to fish there. Now, when we talk about stuff, we've been talking about big worms, football jigs, Carolina rigs. We talked about Lake Fork trophy lures, the 10-inch worm and the California 420. We talked about Carolina rig and the ring fried 420. Something that years and years ago when I was a kid, Bass Assassin was around. And I really only associated Bass Assassin with, you know, like a fluke bait, you know, a fish style bait. I never really associated Bass Assassin as a soft plastic company that makes everything. Like this right here is a whoopa crawl. It's a lot like a rage craw or it's a crawfish style trailer. Whoopa craw is very quickly becoming one of my favorites. Big worms, speed worm styles, you know, multiple sizes on the whoopa craws, creature baits, beaver style baits, crawfish baits, kind of like your brush hogs and things like that, swim baits like your skinny dippers, Cinco, stick baits, all kinds of trick worms galore. That's what we're going to show you here in a second. And then, of course, you know, your Bass Assassins, your typical Bass Assassins, and then new varieties of Bass Assassins. This catalog is loaded with material and even stuff for crappie fishing and ocean fishing. And I had no idea that Bass Assassin was this big and produced this much stuff. And I'm tickled pink. I'm loving it. I'm really liking a lot of the product, and I really like the softness of the plastic. So right here is a couple of great worms. The tap out worm is a great finesse worm. This is a black and blue tail. Black and blue tail. Black and blue is a great color. I love this tail. You get this on a shaky head, or you get this just on a Texas rig worm in some of the right spots on Lake Fork, you're going to get your arm hurt. But that's the tap out. It's called tap out in the 7.5-inch black and blue tail. Another great colors that we would have, and that would be plum apple in the tap out. And of course, red bug, really hard to beat. So Bass Assassin is really with the times. In fact, I think ahead. They've got some products in here that I think are almost what I would call like not up and coming, but something new, fresh, something that really is not blown up out there. And I want you guys to take a look at it. Go to Bass Assassin Lures. You can do orders at bassassassin.com. The website is bassassassin.com. Go check it out and try some of their products. I know that you'll be happy. You'll be really, really happy. They've got 11-inch worms right now. I love their 11-inch worm. I've been using the plum in the 11-inch worm and catching fish. Texas rig style, 20-pound test fluorocarbon, 3/8 peg bullet weight, and I'm catching them. So that's kind of the gist of what's going on. Big worms really are going to be the main thing that I'm going to throw. I'm going to throw them on shaky heads, and I'm going to throw them on Texas rigs. If I'm in heavy cover on the wood, I'm going to throw them on Texas rigs. If I'm in brush piles, Texas rigs. If I'm in open water shell or anything like that, I'm going to use my shaky head, the Sandtone 5/16 ounce shaky head, and I'm going to drag them uphill. I love to put the boat in about 12, throw it into 20, and drag those uphill. What a difference that can make right there alone. So that's the gist of what will happen the next 4 to 6 weeks on Fork, the rest of June and all of July. Big worm bite. It gets bigger and bigger for me as it gets hotter. I go to a 12-inch, I go to a 15-inch worm by the time the end of September, by the end of August, mid-August, September. I'm using a gigantic worm. I believe it's been so hot, the fish don't have the energy to run and chase, but when they do eat and they do chase, they want reward. They don't want to have to run and chase and eat 15 shad. They want to run once and get big reward for that. And then they can go lay up and stay in a comfortable place while that digests. So I really believe the hotter it gets, the bigger the baits. Okay. That's kind of the gist of that. Again, thank you guys for your subscription. Channel's still growing. The public channel's still growing. I want to invite you to come be a member. Look below this video in the descriptions. Follow the links. Give it a try. There are a lot of members right now. The members report is more detailed than what you guys get here. It gives locations. It gives specifics. I give boat positions. I give the exact colors that are actually working, the how-tos. I just get into more depth and more detail than you get here publicly. I really do. And it's worth it. It's $4.99 a month. You're crazy not to try it at least once and see, does this help you catch more fish? The members only channel, $4.99. Look at the link below, and then upgrade from being just public. Give it a try. A couple of the fishing reports. Crappie are still tearing it. They're just awesome on Fork. They're definitely in the offshore trees, 18 to 28 feet of water and brush piles and offshore summer trees. Use your down scans, use your forward scanning, forward imaging graphs to really fish for them. But here's the thing, they're on the the bridge pylons too. And the bridge pylons, they're actually about 10 to 12 feet down. So you can get in the shade. You can go fish the morning, and when it gets too hot or you need a break, you can go in the shade and fish the bridge pylons. 515 east, 515 west, 514, 2946. All those places are good bridge pylons that will hold keeper crappie, and you can fish in the shade and keep comfortable. As far as catfish on Lake Fork, man, look, catfish is a no-brainer on Lake Fork all the time. Literally all the time. I had a client a while back who brought a friend. His friend did not want to bass fish. His friend brought his own rod, his own tackle box of stuff and hooks and weights. He asked me would I have a problem with him catfishing from the back of the boat. He brought night crawlers. I told him the only problem I've had is if you spill that dirt in my brand new carpet. My boat wasn't even 2 weeks old. So we worked together and we kept the worms and the junk down in the bottom with the sea decking, and we didn't worry about getting mud and junk in the carpet and worm dirt in the carpet. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I went bass fishing and I told him that. I said, I'm not pursuing catfish. We're pursuing bass. Your friend paid me. Your friend's going to be bass fishing. He said, I don't care. I'm just going to drag it around the boat. If I catch, I catch. If I don't, I don't. Every single spot that we stopped at, whether I was in 5 feet of water shallow or 15 or 20 feet deep, he caught catfish. He actually caught a bunch of catfish. He took a couple dozen of them home. It was crazy. It was just crazy. So catfishing on Fork, number one, they're everywhere. If you really want to have a good time, get you some sour maize or cattle cubes from a feed store. Go out the day before, chum a hole, and then come back the next day and use, punch bait or something cheap. I wouldn't use night crawlers or anything. Chicken liver's cheap. Use something cheap. the catfish bait, dough bait, punch bait, because they're gorging because of the sour maize and the cow cubes. And I'm telling you, you can literally, it's 25 per person is the limit. You could fill a 4-person limit of 100 fish in less than an hour on a baited up spot. And you could blindfold yourself and bait the spot. It doesn't matter where you do it. Bait it in anywhere from 10 to 20 feet of water, have a tree to tie to, and you want to fill your freezer with catfish, Lake Fork's place to go do that. All right, that's it. That's my public report. Trying to fatten it up for you guys. Make sure that you guys realize I do very much appreciate your public subscription. Even though I want you to come over and be a member, you get a lot more out of it. But hey, that's up to you to decide. So thanks again. Appreciate you watching. Thumbs up if you like this. Comment below. Have any questions, please put them in below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Take good care. God bless, and I wish you all great fishing.